Hello everyone. I'm going to present our study, The Hidden Toe of Instant Messaging Use in Remote Work. We focus on interaction dynamics between subordinates and supervisors. Here's our agenda for today. We'll cover content from research motivation to our future direction. So, as you may know, the COVID-19 pandemic accelerated the global shift toward remote work, and of course, I was one of those remote workers who worked from home for an extended period. So my typical workday began with grabbing a coffee and opening my laptop to check emails, and from there, I found myself bombarded with messages from client, manager, and other departments. And I'm sure many of you can relate to this shift to remote work. But alongside this new routine, I found many people in a rather interesting situation. Like one of my friends with whom I shared my workspace while working from home. So, initially, she seemed so focused and composed while working on her usual tasks, but as soon as she received a message from her manager, her mood changed quickly. I witnessed her mood swing dramatically many times in those quick moments, and it made me wonder why exactly can a person be so heavily influenced by this mode of communication, considering that instant messaging has become one our main way of interacting in our remote work setups. What it is about these quick fire messages that could elicit such strong emotional responses? So, as we found in 2023, even as workplaces started going back to normal, a big chunk of workforce kept working remotely. And employees adjusted fine to remote work flexibility, but bosses and managers often prefer having everyone in the office. And this gap could be made more obvious by instant messaging, which is crucial for remote work. And while past studies look at how different groups use instant messaging, we are not sure how this obstacle affect different roles, especially the relationship between remote workers and their bosses. Also, impression management and self-censorship, common behaviors in professional environment have been studied in the context of social networking site, but not extensively in instant messaging interactions between supervisors and subordinates. So in this study, we want to answer the following question. So first, how do subordinates respond and strategize their communication with supervisors using instant messaging and remote work settings? And second, what purposes and intentions drive the strategies employed by subordinates in their instant messaging interactions? And how do supervisors perceive and evaluate interactions with subordinates over instant messaging? So moving on to our method, we conducted 12 one-on-one semi-structured in-depth interviews, each lasting between 45 minutes to 1.5 hours. And during these interviews, we encourage retrospection to help participants record their instant messaging practices. And our participant pool consisted of 6 supervisors and 6 subordinates from diverse industry. And here it's important to note that our participants were not matched pairs and did not have direct work relations. The majority of them were female with ages ranging from 23 to 45 years old. And in terms of remote work experience, the duration varied among our participants ranging from 1 month to 1.5 years. And the communication tools they use a wide variety of platforms, including Asana, Microsoft Teams, Slack, and Line. And this platform serves as essential tools for their coordination between supervisors and subordinates, with the particular reliance on their instant messaging functions. So following data analysis, our research revealed four key themes, explaining the complexities and dynamics of instant messaging use in remote work environment. So we identify contrasting perception between them regarding the advantages and challenges of remote work. But most important of all, it highlighted the use of instant messaging applications, exacerbated communication, and collaboration challenges perceived by supervisors. So from the perspective of supervisors, some of our participant expressed concern about the lack of bonding opportunities with colleagues in online meetings, particularly for new team members who might feel lost. They also expected their subordinates to ask more questions, share feelings, and give instant feedback through instant messaging, but they saw the opposite behaviors. So subordinates, on the other hand, felt very anxious about their interactivity and directness of instant messaging, leading them to be overly conscious about how they presented themselves when interacting with supervisors. So, after recognizing this emotion, we explored how strays from instant messaging affect subordinates' communication with their supervisors. So, first, we found that conversely, in offline conversations, people experience less self-consciousness about visibility and response times, providing a contrast to the stress induced by instant messaging during remote work. And additionally, instant messaging design element could intensify that stress, leading to uncertainty and hesitation in messaging supervisor, like read receipt function, group chat features, and persistent chat histories and notifications. So, in order to cope with such stress, subordinates were very cautious and strategic in how they communicated with their supervisors over instant messaging app when working remotely. So, they did this through three main strategies. They avoided direct text responses, and they carefully crafted their messages, and they also used multiple responses. So during remote work, our research also observed that supervisors participant place significant not only on instrumental but also on social interaction through instant messaging with their subordinates. So through our findings, we discovered that supervisors may tend to assess subordinates' responses for friendliness and warmth, using them as indicators for work evaluation. We found that proactive small talk effort initiated by supervisor could not only strengthen bonds, but also provide subordinates with increased access to valuable resources. And just as subordinates were highly conscious about work conversation, they also exhibited reservation around casual small talk. They often ended small talk promptly to prioritize unfinished tasks and tended to pay less attention to non-work conversation. But small talk over instant messaging emerged as an important factor impacting supervisor subordinate report, comfort levels, and subordinate access to resources and their opportunities. So as you can see, we've uncovered subordinates tend to self-censor in order to maintain their impression of their supervisors over instant messaging. Also, we highlight disparities in perception between them and supervisors regarding instant messaging use in remote interactions. And this emphasized the need to enhance instant messaging design for better communication. Therefore, we've outlined four proposed considerations to address subordinates' concerns and communication challenges. So, first of all, our research shows a gap in instant messaging availability signals. Subordinates want features showing availability to reduce hesitation and time questions better, but it's hard to know when supervisors are available. Power dynamics significantly influence subordinates' reluctance to interrupt supervisors, heightening concerns about intrusiveness. So the first approach could be tailoring availability settings, enabling users to adjust them for specific recipient or situation. And second, we could consider incorporating distinct time frames in availability status, further enhances clarity. And our study also showed that many subordinates prefer emoji reactions as they are subtle, enable them to request help without disturbing their supervisor's work. So to address this need, instant messaging application could introduce a discrete response feature for subordinates. And second, a potential design innovation could involve time-staggered responses, allowing supervisors to establish convenient windows for receiving responses from subordinates. And for supervisors, the third one is the messenger system could incorporate a reaction analytics dashboard that provide insight into team members' communication patterns and preferences, helping supervisors better understand their behavior. And the read receipts feature in instant messaging apps has pros and cons. It assures senders that their message are received, but can stress recipients, especially subordinates. They often feel pressure to respond promptly, affecting their focus. So to tackle this, we could consider introducing a customizable time delay for read receipt. This delay would give recipient time to respond thoughtfully without feeling rushed, like hitting pause to allow for reflection before responding. And lastly, we discovered that subordinates primarily focus on business matters during remote work. However, meaningful casual conversation can positively influence how they are perceived by supervisors. So to address the situation where subordinates often feel uncomfortable with spontaneous chit-chat messages, interrupting their workflow, we suggest implementing a tabbed interface or conversation folders to differentiate between work-related and social chat. Also, an intelligent notification system could help separate work-related or social content, with users setting preferences manually or through AI-powered categorization. So, moving on to our future directions, what are the next steps? So first, to improve sample representation, we consider increasing sample size, diversity of roles, and gender tag savvy representation. And while we've examined individual instant messaging interaction, exploring team dynamics, private versus group instant messaging use, and face-to-face interaction could improve understanding. And investigating managers' use of instant messaging for management could offer further insight into remote communication dynamics. And the last but not least, to enhance exploration of participant experiences, consider alternative methods such as experience sampling, gathering real-time data on emotions, and a quantitative survey could also improve result generalizability. So that is this is our research, and thank you for your listening.